Stop scrolling because this didn't end with a complaint, a warning, or an apology. It ended with a woman screaming in my driveway, neighbors filming on their phones, and police lights flashing across my house. And the craziest part? None of it would have happened if she hadn't kept stealing my packages. I'm serious. Watch until the end, because the way she got exposed was something I never planned, but I'll never forget. It started small. One missing package. Amazon marked it delivered, the photo showed my porch, but the box was gone. I brushed it off. Maybe a mistake. Maybe it was late. Then it happened again. And again. Every time I checked the app, every time I stepped outside, my stomach dropped. Empty porch. No boxes. No explanation. I installed a doorbell camera, thinking that would scare anyone off. For a few days, nothing happened. Then one afternoon, I got a notification. Motion detected. I opened the clip and felt my blood boil. A woman from our HOA Perfect Hair, clipboard energy, always complaining about trash cans walked up, glanced around, grabbed my package, and walked off like she owned it. I confronted her politely the next day. She smiled. Denied everything. Said maybe delivery drivers were confused. Then she warned me about making accusations in this neighborhood. That's when I realized this wasn't going to stop. Over the next 2 weeks, 3 more packages disappeared. Expensive ones. Things I needed. Every time, the same pattern. Same time. Same direction. And every time I checked the footage, somehow the camera missed the exact moment. That's when the idea hit me. Not revenge. Proof. I ordered one more package. Inside wasn't anything valuable. It was a dye pack, harmless, bright, impossible to hide. The kind that explodes on contact and stains everything. I placed it on my porch, hit record on every camera, and waited. I had no idea what was about to happen next would turn my quiet HOA into chaos. The package sat on my porch for less than 20 minutes. I was watching the live feed from my phone, heart pounding harder with every passing second. Part of me hoped nothing would happen. Part of me wanted this to finally be over. Then the motion alert popped up. She appeared exactly like before. Same confident walk, same quick glance left and right. But this time, she hesitated. She stared straight at the doorbell camera, waved sarcastically, and bent down to grab the box. The moment she lifted it, the dye pack detonated. A loud pop echoed through the street. Red and blue dye exploded across her hands, arms, and white shirt. She screamed and dropped the package, stumbling backward in shock. The color spread instantly, staining her clothes, skin, and the concrete beneath her feet. There was no hiding it. No denying it. She ran. Straight across the street. Straight toward her house. Leaving a trail of color behind her like a confession written in paint. Within minutes, neighbors started coming outside. Phones were out. Questions were flying. Someone asked if there'd been an accident. Someone else pointed at my porch, now splattered in dye. I stepped outside and said one sentence, "That's the person who's been stealing my packages." That's when she came back. Still covered in dye, shaking, furious. She started yelling that I'd assaulted her. That I'd set a trap. That she was calling the police. I calmly told her to go ahead. I had footage. Lots of it. She tried to wipe the dye off her arms. It didn't budge. She demanded I delete the video. I refused. The crowd grew. Someone laughed. Someone else started recording. When the police arrived, she changed her story 3 times. First she said it was a prank. Then she said she thought the package was hers. Finally, she said she was just holding it for safekeeping. None of it matched the footage. The officer watched the video silently. From the moment she stepped onto my porch to the moment the die exploded. When it ended, he looked at her hands, still stained bright red, and sighed. That's when the situation officially flipped. The officer asked her one simple question: "Do you have permission to take that package?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. The silence said more than any excuse could. Neighbors leaned in. Phones stayed raised. This wasn't HOA gossip anymore. This was evidence. She started crying. Not quiet tears, loud, dramatic sobs. She said she was stressed. That people in the neighborhood didn't respect her. That she deserved those packages because she kept the community in order. The officer wasn't impressed. He explained that taking packages, regardless of intent, was theft. He asked if I wanted to press charges. I hesitated. Not because I felt bad, but because I wanted this to stop forever. I said I wanted a report filed and the footage documented. That's when her attitude snapped. She screamed that she'd ruin me with HOA fines. That she'd make sure I'd regret this. One of the neighbors interrupted her and said, "You already did this to yourself." Another neighbor admitted their packages had gone missing too. Then another. And another. Suddenly, this wasn't just my story. The officer took statements. Names. Dates. Times. The dye on her clothes had dried, leaving her looking exactly like what she was, a thief caught in her own mess. She was issued a citation and warned that further complaints would escalate quickly. By the next morning, the HOA sent an email claiming there'd been a change in leadership responsibilities. Her name was gone. A week later, she stopped showing up to meetings entirely. My packages. They stopped disappearing. Every time I walk past that spot on the porch where the dye stained the concrete, I remember how close I came to letting it go. To staying quiet. To accepting it. And I'm glad I didn't. Because sometimes, the only way to expose the truth is to let someone reveal it themselves. Weeks passed, and the neighborhood slowly returned to normal. But the story didn't disappear. People still whispered about it. New neighbors asked what happened. Some thanked me quietly for doing what they were afraid to do themselves. The dye stain eventually faded, but the reputation damage didn't. She moved out 3 months later. No goodbye. No explanation. Just gone. And honestly, the street felt lighter afterward. I learned something important through all of this. Not about traps or cameras, but about silence. About how easily bad behavior survives when people look the other way. I wasn't trying to be a hero. I just wanted my packages back. But standing up changed more than I expected. Now, every delivery driver knows my house. Neighbors wave more. And the HOA? They're suddenly very careful with rules and accusations. If you're dealing with something similar, don't jump to revenge. Document everything. Stay calm. Let the truth do the talking. Because when someone is bold enough to steal in plain sight, they usually believe they'll never be caught. And that belief is exactly what gets them exposed.